Hello everyone, welcome to Southern Wreaths. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. Today I'm going to show you how I made this really cute mini wreath. These are the supplies I used to make this wreath. I'm going to show you here there's two different kinds of wreath forms for a mini wreath if you're using an 8-inch form. One I got at Craft Outlet and the other one comes in the 2-pack from Dollar Tree. The only difference is the one from Craft Outlet is raised and the other one's not. For this particular wreath, I'm choosing the raised option. You can either use Dollar Tree mesh or just the larger rolls. These are better quality than Dollar Tree, but use what you have. I am going to do the curl method, and I'm just getting an idea of how big I want my curls to be. So I decided 10 inches was a good size for what I was going for. So I'm just going to use my mat and my rotary cutter to cut some 10-inch pieces. You could either do the curl method or the ruffle method with this wreath. It's completely up to you. The ruffle method is a little bit harder to do with my fingers. The curl method was a little bit more fun. And this rotary cutter makes life a lot easier as far as cutting. They need to make something like that for ribbon. Just lay it all out and cut it away. I'm using 2-inch ribbons, or it's 1.5-inch ribbons, sorry. I'm doing this black polka dot and this gray and white gingham, and I'm cutting them all at 8 inches. You can play around with the length of the ribbon you want. I am doing it each section at a time just because I didn't know how many pieces I would need, and I do like to dovetail the ends. I've had this cow sign for a while. I believe I picked it up at Dollar General, and I knew I wanted to make a mini wreath out of it. I just wasn't sure if I was going to do the clothespin wreath or not. I'm kind of glad I went with this instead. I'm going to show you two different ways that you can do this. The first one's with my bow dabra. If you don't have a bow dabra, you could also use like a chip clip in place of it. So and then I'll also show you by hand, sorry. And I'm just kind of rolling it pretty tight. I like the look of that. You can make your curls looser if you want. And then I just stick it as centered as possible down into the bow dabra. The trick with your curls is to put something heavy at the end. The first part, sometimes you have to kind of crease over just a little bit. And then as you're curling, make sure you keep the edges in, because to me personally, when the edges stick out, it makes it look a little bit more messy. The trick to having it nice and clean and pretty is to just take your time and curl it right. Not all of your pieces will be as difficult as this one was. For the most part, they want to curl because that's how they've been on the spool of mesh. But every once in a while, you'll get that one that just wants to poke out at either end. I am doing 3 curls per bundle. I cut my pipe cleaners in half. I did that because you don't need a full one out the back. It just is too messy and there's too much back there. And there's no point in wasting it. So you can just use some kind of wire cutters and just cut your pipe cleaners in half. And then I just add my ribbon. My pipe cleaners are 12 inches. I believe most are. And then I like to push everything together and then pull it out in one bunch. Take my thumb and bend the pipe cleaner over. And that makes a nice little notch to wrap around my bundle. I like to pull up on the stuff when I'm first twisting. And this just makes everything stand up nice and pretty. And it makes sure you have a super tight twist. And I twist about 3 or 4 times. And then I fluff my ribbon and that bundle is done. And now I'll show you how to do it without the bow dabra. So I'm going to cut my ribbon again. I need new scissors. If anyone knows good scissors, please leave them in the comments below because I have a lot of trouble finding good scissors. I've had these for a while, but they are super dull. I've tried sharpening them, but it didn't work. I don't know if I just don't know what I'm doing, or maybe you just can't sharpen these. Okay, again, be very mindful as you're curling to make sure you don't have anything sticking out. So this time you're going to use your hand. So just stick it in between your fingers so your hands are still free to work. This also works when you're doing the curls with 10-inch mesh. The bow dabber is definitely easier, but it's not necessary. But chip clips, I believe you can find those at Dollar Tree. So if you did just want to go pick up a dollar chip clip, then that would save your hands from having to hold everything like that. So you push it all in just like with the bow dabber crease. I like to fold it in half and then pinch in the middle. Add that on top, pushing it all down. And now I'll find my pipe cleaner, bend it in half, and then just twist it around. So either way will work. And then I pull it up as I twist. And this really does make a difference in how tight you get your bundles in there, because when you're fluffing your ribbons, sometimes if it's not super tight, you'll pull them through. It's not a big deal. You can always put it back, but it just saves you from having to fix it. Okay, so after I have them all done, I'm going to add them to my frame. I'm going to put them over the rings. You can decide which rings you want to add them to. I do suggest only doing 2 rings instead of all the way around, just because these bundles aren't super big. And here I'll flip over to the back and show you the 2 rings I chose are the 2 center rings. That one and that one. And then I just kind of straddle the bars with the pipe cleaner. I grab it on the other side, and you can either twist the pipe cleaner or you can twist the actual wreath. So hold it in place and just turn the wreath 3 or 4 times. And I don't do it super duper tight because you have to slide them back and forth. See how I can slide it? Here, I'll show you again. You just wrap it around the bars. Pull it through. You kind of want to position it where you want it to be, and then twist it. Because you don't want the bundle to be too far to the left or too far to the right. So you try to center it as best you can. But it's not a big deal. You can always move it. I ended up doing 4 bundles per section, and there's 4 sections, so that's a total of 16 bundles. So if you wanted to go through and make your bundles ahead of time, you could. Now, once it gets full, you kind of have to push stuff out of the way, but you can always move everything back to where it goes. The key here is to make sure you can't see the bars through the mesh. You're just covering up the bars. And now I'm just going to take the pipe cleaners and tuck them through. You want the sharp points to be facing towards the front of the wreath. You don't want to scratch anyone's door. And you can poke yourself, which I've done several times. Or you could trim them away, but I still think you would have some sharp pieces, so it's always best to push them through. So to attach my cowl, there was a hole in this little loop. I'm not sure what that was, some kind of hanger. But I just fed it through there and twisted. And that's how I'm going to attach the bottom part of the cowl. You just feed it to the back and wrap it around the bars. And the great thing about pipe cleaners is you can position them where you want. So if you're not happy with it, you can untwist it and put it where you want it to be. Okay, so the top of the cowl had a hook. So I'm taking a pipe cleaner and attaching it to the hook, and then I kind of squeezed the hook. It wasn't super strong, so I was able to squeeze the metal just to keep the pipe cleaner on there. And then I'm just going to put one side of the pipe cleaner on one side of the wreath and the other one on the other side. And this just helps keep your sign centered. Because if you put it all on the right side, then it tends to move to the right side, and the same on the left. So if you just separate it, then it makes it nice and even. And then I'll just go through and fluff all of my ribbons and make sure all of my curls are tucked in and make sure everything looks nice, and then I'm happy with the way it's laid out. The possibilities are endless with these because I know I find tiny signs all the time and you never know what to do with them because sometimes they're too small for a larger wreath. But for these mini wreaths, they're so cute. I think this would look adorable in someone's kitchen. That's it. That's how I made my mini curl wreath. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or you can always email me at craftingwithlee@yahoo.com. Thank you so much for watching, and if y'all like my video or learned anything today, please like, share, and subscribe, and give me a thumbs up. Thank you.